SNN, Science News Network. Today I will be discussing the ideas of motion with famous scientist Aristotle. Please give him a warm welcome.
Hello!
Hello, Aristotle, and welcome to SNN. I'm going to ask you a few questions about your ideas on motion. Are you ready?
Yep.
So it seems that you have many theories on motion, but none of them are correct.
I beg to differ.
Well, it says here that you said motion can be caused by a force.
Yes, meaning that when you throw a ball, after you stop pushing on it, the air rushes around behind the ball and pushes it forward.
But we know this is wrong because if you were in a vacuum chamber and you threw a ball, it wouldn't just fall to the ground after you released it.
Okay, fine, you got me there. But what about my other theories? For example, I said natural motion, such as falling, came from the tendency of objects to go to their natural place on the ground and come to rest.
We know this is not true because other scientists have proved that the objects want to keep on doing what they are doing. If an object is at rest, it wants to stay at rest. If an object is moving through the air, it wants to keep moving, so it uses inertia to keep moving for as long as it can before gravity forces it to fall.
I also said that voluntary motion was the type of motion exhibited by animals, which moved because they chose to, and forced motion occurred when an object was acted on by some other object that made it move. Now you try to prove this theory wrong.
In this theory, you are saying that the object causes its own motion. Forced motion is supposed to be caused by another object when forced motion imposes it, commands on another.
Fine, but I know I was right when I said...
Aristotle, I'm sorry, but most of your theories were incorrect. You thought you needed to explain both why motion occurs and why motion might change. Newton and Galileo proved that motion needs no explanation, that it is only changes in motion that require physical cause.
So you are saying that all of my theories are incorrect? Well then I must be off. It's time I try a new career.
Well everyone, that was Aristotle. Stay tuned because after the commercial we are going to discuss healthy ways to lose mass. See you soon!